Guys, alright, I'm trying to get this situated. I'm literally parked in my car. I have an appointment right after this, so I had to work it out to do it this way. But we are gonna get this going. And I'm gonna try to make sure this phone doesn't fall. I'm gonna give everybody a second to get on. And yay! Okay, I'm glad this is working. I was kind of nervous if this would have reception here, but it looks like we do. And the sun isn't too bright on my head. Okay. Alright. Alright, yeah, Brooke, I saw that you were trying to figure out the time. Okay. I see some people trying to get on. And I'm going to make this really quick. I know it's Friday. I know it's like lunchtime. It's holiday weekend. And so I promise this will not take more than hopefully 20 minutes. But make sure you tag a friend, make sure that they know about this, that it's on. I know we had some time confusions, so I'm really glad that you guys are making it on. So I'm gonna give everybody one more second and make sure it's official. And if you don't know me, I actually am always late, so I did really good being on time, and I'm actually gonna start on time. And my watch is dead though. That sucks. Alright. And I don't have a clock, so let's see what time it is. Oh, 12 on the dot. I'll give one more second. Oh, it takes a second to breathe. Like I was driving, hurrying to get here. Okay, yes, there's at least a couple people jumping on. Alright, well, today we are finishing the week talking more about challenge groups, and I know you're going to have another great call tomorrow. Oh, shit. Okay, I thought this spilled. And did anybody listen to Brigida's call yesterday? Talking about her challenge groups and how they run? I did, and let me tell you, I need to do some reworking on my challenge groups, and I had to totally rethink this call. I was like, wow, after listening to that, I need to redo my own. And that is one thing I love about these groups, is that even as leaders, all of us, like, we get more excited about doing these because we love learning from each other. And as you continue to grow, leaders never stop learning. Like, I'm always so excited to do these with other people. I always feel like I never have anything great to offer, and I'm like, oh, they want me to do this with them? Because I always feel like everyone else has so much to give, and I'm always like, I don't know what I can help you with, but, you know, always know that you do have something. There's always something that you're doing right, but you just have to figure out what that is. And for the longest time in my business, I knew that I was being successful with it, but I was really struggling. It's like there was something missing. And I honestly, it really wasn't until like Monday, there was a call that I was listening to, and it finally triggered me what the difference was. So I'm going to do a little rewind and kind of do a recap on what was going on and what the difference was. So if you guys don't know, obviously my name is Lori Stewart. I got started, I've been a coach for 4 years now. I joined only for the discount. I signed up as a discount coach because I wanted to save the money. I was a full-time accountant, and I just wanted the savings. I didn't want any part of the business. I worked as an accountant at Southwest Airlines, and I ran a side business, but I lost 40 pounds. I was plugged into a challenge group. I loved what I was doing. And I just wanted to share it with everybody. And so challenge groups were really important to me. I never even knew what a group was before that, until I'd gotten plugged into this. And I would have quit had it not been for that challenge group. And so as I began to get results, I wanted anyone else that was trying to lose weight to do this program, because I was like, oh my God, it worked for me. And I used to be a gym rat before, and I had so much results from doing Insanity at home. I'm like, oh my God, everybody needs to do this program. So that's kind of like where my twist started to becoming more into like, okay, I'll do this at least to cover the cost of my shakes, and then it became more. But that is where the attempt of doing challenge groups started for me. Now here's the thing that you guys have to remember. They don't have to be perfect. Y'all, I will never have a Brigida type challenge group. I wish I could, but I never will. That's just not my personality style. Like that's overwhelming for me. Like, I feel like I would like have to think forever to figure it out. I'm such a last minute, I'm a procrastinator. Like, I've figured that out about myself, and I know that that's just me, and I try to be really good about it, you know, and I just do the best that I can with it. But that is so my goal. Like, always striving to be better and to get there. But if you're not, don't think that you can't do a group because you don't have that system set up. My challenge groups didn't start off that way. I literally in the beginning was like, hey, does anybody have a program at home they want to dust off and jump in a group with me? I see one of my coaches that jumped on right here. She's one of my diamond leaders, and she had bought her P90X program off of eBay. I just wanted people to work out with and jump in this group. So I'm going to give you some good tips for this, but I just want to make a point that don't think that you need to have some huge customer base and all of these people to do this. We heard this thing the other day, getting it done is better than not doing it all and thinking you have to do it and be perfect with it. So just creating some type of group to have will be the start of how they go, and then how you'll progress and how you'll make them better. So one of the biggest things that you're going to need to do is really work on figuring out the programs, the start dates, and all of those things. And so I don't mean to jump around a lot, but I might have to, just kind of to make a point come across. So I know we went back and talked about how we got started in doing the groups. So I just want to kind of now do a little explanation. So like I said, I lost the weight. I started doing these groups, fell in love with Beachbody, right? All I wanted to do. And I started working more, helping more people, lost my job, started doing Beachbody full time, and absolutely loved it. And I would run at least 1 to 2 challenge groups a month. I wanted to grow my business much faster. And it's not that I wanted to, I needed it to in order for this to work. So I normally would run 2 challenge groups a month because I couldn't help just 5 people a month and think that that was going to sustain my income. I needed to help more people than that. So we grew really quickly. And what happened was, and I just honestly figured this out this week, our team grew so fast, and people kept saying, what are you guys doing? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just, I'm signing people up and they're getting results, and I've got great results, and we've got these awesome challenge groups, and we did. And then something started to change, and that was that I began focusing on the business side and quit focusing on myself. And I still was running challenge groups. I still was running, doing all those things. I still was working out. I still was attempting to eat right, but it wasn't the same. The most important challenger, which was me, wasn't getting a priority. And our team ended up in January of 2014. Our team woke up and we were number 3. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know how we got there, and I put this leader hat on that I had to figure out how to do this coaching thing, and my mind shifted, and that was when my business started changing, because I stopped focusing on the challenger in me and I started focusing on the business side. And so that's one thing that we're going to talk about too in this, is not forgetting to focus on the most important person in it all, and that's yourself. Because I've had to refine myself during all of this, and since I have, things have changed again. So like I said, I don't mean to be jumping around, I just kind of wanted to reiterate how important that piece of it is, because during the time when I thought, I had to figure out, all of these things about the coaching and be a better leader, and I stopped focusing on myself, I started to gain my weight back. I started to be less confident. I started to attract the wrong people. I started to lose momentum. And all of those things spreads throughout your business, through your personal life, through your groups. And it wasn't until I had to become a challenger again and join a challenge group, because I was picked to be part of this Country Heat Test group, that I said that it changed everything again for me. And somebody made a comment the other day that it triggered for me. They said, what was the difference between what you're doing now and what you're doing back then? Well, I haven't been doing anything different other than that. And so we're going to talk about how to just make sure just to get a basic group up and going, because most of you I know are just getting started. You're not really having these huge teams that you're having to run and build yet. And so doing that, and then making sure the biggest in part is you, and how to keep that going. So, okay. So number one, scheduling out challenge groups. I'm the worst planner, but it's always getting better. So now I at least am really good about planning things ahead. Normally I literally would give myself 2 weeks, and this is not the best, and I don't recommend this, but I know there's people in here who are just like me that do that, and I'm trying to tell you we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to get better. So I want you to really sit down with a calendar, pull a calendar out, and actually it's probably best to use one of those. Some of you might be digital. I'm still a paper person when it comes to calendars, and I literally look at the month and I think, okay, when do I want to start my next group? Some people prefer the first of the month, some people prefer different times. I normally choose like the first or second week of the month, and so then what's going to happen is I'm going to backtrack. It's going to be different if there's release dates. It's going to be different if there's holidays. It's going to be different based on different times of the year. So if you have one of those, like I use a 12-month little calendar book, I literally go through and I think, okay, what is the best time for this month? So for example, we're going to use releasing of Country Heat in this month. So I have a group that's going to be starting on July 11th. My next group will start, I think I don't have it in front of me, it's like August 15th. So why would I pick those dates? Well, Country Heat comes out August 1st. Obviously you're going to want to talk about a program and talk about what you're doing, and then you're going to need to give yourself at least 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is to get people ordering and to get people time to sign up and to get them time to plug into your group. And I know it's kind of common sense, like that stuff that we always talk about we should know, but sometimes you really got to think, like we think we post about it one day and people are going to sign up, but no, sometimes they need to be hearing it over and over and over, and not everybody is on Facebook at the same time when you're posting these. So you got to give yourself at least really a week to be talking about that, and then another week for them to order and get it in. And so giving those deadlines really do make such a help, and saying, okay, 1 week left to order, got to get you plugged in, and all of those kinds of things. Once you get your group up, we're gonna tell you to go back to Brigida's video, because that was awesome, and I'm gonna go back and I was gonna take some more crazy notes because it was amazing. But here's the thing, you can do a group without it being so detailed if you're just getting started, because it was a lot for me, and I was just like, okay, I gotta figure all this out. Beachbody provides you guys with everything. You have your scripts in the back office. You have every kind of motivational quote and picture and things that you can think of. So you're never going to be left with nothing to do. And did you know that, because I know you're in this group, and that means you're hitting Success Club. And did you know if you're hitting Success Club, you're signed up for the club membership, that you also can create meal plans through Team Beachbody? And so that means that you also have another service and value that you can give to your challengers in the group, that you can create meal plans and put them in your group. So it's not like you have to create these on your own, because you know what, meal planning is not everybody's thing. So if it's not yours, it can be yours thanks to Beachbody. So go back there and use those tools. You know what else I use? I go to Pinterest and I type in 21-day meal plan, and I save them, and I make a little folder, and I say, here are some great examples of different meal plans. I'm a super visual person, so somebody can say this is how you meal prep, but unless I see your full week meal plan, I don't get it. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. So I need to see like how someone plans their meals. Like, I need to see how you pack your food. I need to see how you, like, how do you put your snacks together? Like, that stuff is huge for me. So by making these meal plans, to me, that like will put everything together. And so I just make an album and I put it in there, and then now you've provided them with options, right? So I do believe that what she said, absolutely, with giving them expectations up front, because I know that that is going to be such a difference maker. Because when I was asking some of those hesitations, a lot of you guys were talking about having them post in the group and making sure that they're being interactive, and by letting them know that up front, like, hey, let's be in the group, but you got to post, you got to be interactive, you got to show up. I can't help you, I can provide you the tools, but it's like with anything, like, you still got to do the work. I think, like, giving them a shout, like, tagging them in a picture, sending them a message, and just knowing, kind of trying to know them and know who they are, and knowing their schedule, and are they really online all the time, that can kind of help too, because there's some people who just don't really get to do that, you don't really have that option. But if you see them online all the time, be like, girl, why aren't you posting in the group? Do you know how much of an impact that by you just sharing what you did today can make for someone else? They might just start posting that. And the other thing, always try to do a group with someone else. So if you don't know how to really come together and team up with people, what I would suggest is, if your coach does any type of Success Club shout-outs or volume shout-outs, reach out to those coaches and say, hey, I would really like to do kind of a group team challenge, group challenge group, whatever, would you guys want to pair up and we all do this together? That way they become more active, it takes less responsibility, like one person can do, if they're really good at the food part and you're really good at, making modification videos or something, like, you guys can take different roles and use that in the group to help make it more active and get more people plugged in. So you don't have to have that super intense, like, crazy system set up to think that you need to have that done before you do a group. And I keep going back to what she said, because so much of that stuff was like, okay, that's what I would have said too. But a lot of it just is kind of like basic things that you can always take a step further. And that's what this is. It's just about figuring out what works for you and how do we make it better. And some of these, I got really distracted. I kept seeing all these things come up. Okay, I'm going to come back to some of these comments. So, what else? That means you showing up in the group too. And I'm gonna admit, I'm really bad about this, because I'm always like, I post about my workouts, I post about my shakes and what do I eat, like, they see it, I don't need to post it in the group. But then I realized, well, it's one of those things, not everything comes through the newsfeed, so I need to just be sharing in there more and doing that as my own accountability. Y'all, it's copy paste, like, just if you're gonna post it on your regular page, just copy and paste it in the group too. And you can personalize it a little more, like, say, hey, I got my workout in, who else got theirs in? And that's all you have to do, is just make it a little more interactive, end it with a call to action, an opinion, like anything. And that is part of what I want to talk about with being the challenger. So I've heard different sides from people who say they only want to do challenge groups if they're doing the actual program. People saying that they don't do certain challenge groups because they're not doing those programs. I don't do program specific groups anymore, because like I said, when I got started, like, everybody needed to do Insanity. Like, I just thought that was the only program Beachbody made and it was the best one, but obviously that one had worked for me, and that was the best one at the time. I can't do that one anymore. I can't do impact workouts anymore. And so now, obviously, we've learned that you don't just want to push something on them because that's the program that's on sale that month. You want to ask them what their goals are. What is it that they're struggling with? And then you get a group, you put all these people in, and what's cool about doing a multi-program group is that they see someone doing another program, and then they're going to say, oh, that looks really fun. I might want to try that next. And then it also gets them excited about what they're doing and that there's other options out there, and then they'll start to ask more questions, right? So in the group, you need to be doing your own program. Not just picking one and just picking a day to do here and there, but you should be doing a program start to finish and talking about what day you're on every single day. And I know, like, after we've done some, it kind of seems like tedious to do that, but that is so important. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a group, I mean, if you're in a group and you're doing that program, it doesn't matter if you're midway through your program and you're doing a challenge group. They're two separate things. You're always going to be your own challenger in your own life, right? But you're still going to be just posting about doing it. That's different. But you still need to be showing up and doing it. So that is part of where the trust comes from, where you get the challengers from. They need to see that you're showing up every day, that you're saying, hey, here's day 1 of my 21-day program. Here is day 24 of my 90-day program. I'm still going. I'm still trying, right? They need to see that it works. They need to see that there's a calendar laid out, that it tells you what to do every day, that you don't have to think about, what is it you're supposed to do, that it's completely laid out, and that there's a system to follow. And that's the point of it. Like, that's the point of why there's calendars to follow, that there's a scientifically laid out calendar to use. I keep seeing these people behind me and I'm getting distracted. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're doing the program or not, you should still do the group, because you're getting the people with the programs that they need for themselves, right? So you're doing your own program start to finish. Doesn't matter what your challengers are doing, but you're running these groups. Secondly, you should be drinking your Shakeology every day. I can't tell you how much it kills me inside when someone says they have bags of shakes stacked up at their house and they just haven't been drinking them. I'm just gonna say this. If you're a coach and you're trying to build your business, you just need to be drinking the shit every day. That is your job. If you don't believe in it and you don't drink it, don't expect other people to do it either. So make your shake, because it's like your medicine, and drink it. And you post about it, and you post about why it's important to do it, and why you love it, and how you made it that day, or whatever it is, because you don't think you think your coaches are going to stop drinking them, and then they're going to start posting, hey, I got 5 bags of shakes on my counter, anybody want to buy them? Well, I mean, if you do that, they're going to start doing that, right? I've been drinking this every day for 4 years. See my little empty shake? Every single day. I love this stuff. I really love it. And you have objections. You get objections that people don't want to buy a challenge pack. Well, I can overcome some objections, because I can't even say the word, because I believe in it so much and I drink it every single day that it's that big of a deal. It's that big of a deal to me. And I'm not going to let someone join my group because I believe in it so strongly that I think you're cheating yourself if you're going to join my group without it. Okay, I need to take a drink of water. Hold on. Okay, so you are drinking your shake every day. You're doing your workout, right? You're being your own challenger. Now, here's where I fell short. It was the nutrition. Because I was like, oh, I got good results. I got really good results. I can go out to eat. I can save all my yellow containers and go have Mexican food that night. One extra margarita is not going to hurt me, or I'll just put a little extra cheese on it. But you do that over and over and over again. You fall off the wagon every weekend, or it might be every 2 or 3 days. Well, the problem is that saying, what you do in private you wear in public. Well, it's true. I didn't always post that I was out eating, but it was starting to show, and the stress was starting to show, and then being upset about that, and the emotional eating was starting to show, and I wasn't truly being a product of the product. And by not doing that, I no longer was really being a true challenger. I was doing what I wanted. I wasn't following a program. I wasn't following a nutrition plan. I was just kind of making my own. And so when I had to start doing my own, really being committed to a nutrition plan, do you know what happened? I lost weight and I got results. That's what happened. And so that is what will happen if we set the example for people that, this is a lifestyle. We're not doing this just for a quick fix. This is a lifestyle that we're making. And I just got so burdened by all this stuff that it compounds to that. And you know what? When that happens, it's okay, and you let people know that, but you fix it. And the cool thing is we know how to fix it. We have this system that fixes it. It's called a nutrition system, it's called a shake, it's called accountability groups, it's called success partners. And when you put all that together, then you get these amazing results, right? And so you have to be sharing your story, and those stories are not just the surface level of, hey, I showed up and I did my workout today, but it's those stories that get the people, that help you get into the groups, because you've created the trust from showing up. And that is how you really get a challenge group going. And it's not just by saying, I love my shake. It's by saying all of those other things that are going on. But you can't fall off every other weekend, because if you can't stay on the wagon, like, how are you, they're not gonna expect you to be able to help them stay on, right? And I had to learn that the hard way. So I don't want you guys to do that. So, like I said, I know I'm kind of going all over the place because I didn't realize how important it was for me to stay accountable, and how big of a difference it made, because it's so subconscious that it rolls over to your team, it rolls over to your challengers, it rolls over to your life, it rolls over to everything that you do. So it starts with you. It starts with you making sure that you're doing a program. So if you're not doing one, you pick one. Pick one that you're excited about. It doesn't matter what it is. And you decide a start date. It could be tomorrow. It could be the same date as your challengers. It could be whatever. And you post about it start to finish every day. The same with your shakes. The same with your nutrition. You eat like it's your job. Oh, guess what it is? That's your job. It's to eat right, right? Because if you're not getting results, how are you going to be able to say your product is the product? I understand there are medical issues, there's things that go on, reasons people can't lose weight. I went through that too. But what I'm saying is, you need to eat like it's your job, because it is. And when you do all these things, challenge groups just kind of run. They kind of run because you show up and you share those things, and everybody shares it because it's just organically sharing. And that's how my best groups ran. There were no scripts. It was literally just showing up, talking, and to this day, I still have my most active challenge group going. So for every group that I have, when it's finished, I move everybody over into one larger, more active group. We normally do 21 to 30 day groups, because that's normally what people want to start with. I do leave them open longer, but when the group starts to die out, I'm like, okay guys, we're going to move you over to a more active group. I move them all over there, and this group is like, runs on its own. I don't have to do anything. People post motivational pictures, they post recipes, they post their workouts. Of course, I still post in there every day. But the thing is it's because it was that organic sharing, that showing up, that started from the very, very, very beginning. And that is what makes such a big deal. And then you can close those out. That gives great opportunities, and those groups, when you add, I think there's like 600 people that we have at least in there now, for when new things come up, you know, like Country Heat's coming, you can go to this group, that's this ongoing group that has all those people in it, even if not all of them participate, and then you can say, hey, we have a new group starting up, does anybody need to join in with something fresh? And then you add them into this other group. You don't take them out, you just move them over here, and then they get a fresh start. So I'm going to try to read, see if there's anything in here really quickly that y'all have questions about. How did you create a big active group? So literally, like I said, I used to make 2 groups a month, and that was because I was really trying to grow my business quicker. And so I posted it in all my groups one day, hey guys, we are going to create one long-term, never-ending group that we're going to put everybody into. And I literally just wrote down all the names, and I added all the people in there and started to close those groups out. And it got really exciting, because they were excited that there was something new and fresh to get moved to. But then that way, it's like a safe place. It's like there's always somewhere for people to go. And then if people join, like people that come to me that have a program, or they had always signed up and they didn't have a coach, or it's just some random like mid-time of the month, I have a place to put them too. And it always works. So I know that this was completely all over the place, that I didn't have any like outline tips, but I just want to make a point that you don't need all that. You don't need all that to make it work. You just need to do it, and you just need to show up, working on yourself, and set a schedule, make a plan, planning at least 2 weeks ahead, set the group up, let it run for 30 days. If it's active, keep it going. Like, you don't have to end it at 30 days. Keep it going. And if it's dead, then say, hey, we're gonna, figure out what you want to do from there. There's so many different options. It's just kind of based on where you're at. Like I said, look through your team to see who is doing, who's really trying to build their business. And you guys partner up. It doesn't matter if it's 3, 4, 5. I think on our team we have I think it's a group of 5 girls that teamed up, and they do challenges together all the time. And I think, they have the most amazing groups. And then just don't forget to be your own challenger. I can't even stress how important that is. For a year and a half, I was just struggling. And I can't even tell you, just to remember that was the piece of myself that I lost, has changed everything. So I hope that helped you guys. And if you have any questions, post it in here. I will go back through this. I'm actually about to go attempt to do city surf, I think is what it's called. Yoga on a surfboard. I don't know. I agreed to do this with my friend. Didn't realize it was at 12:30. So I'm about to go walk in there and do that. And I will check back with these afterwards and see if I have any questions and help out. So hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I can't wait to see what else happens in this group, because I'm loving it. Hopefully just as much as you.